So yeah, I've got a big old mess laying around here of, you know, like let's see, Spider-Man and Scooby-Doo and all this stuff, because I am rapid firing my way through these. I'm almost at a point I feel where I can start slowing down a little bit. I've just got such a backlog, and I should take it easier, because it's not like the backlog is eternal. It's just a lot, but still, I kind of want to get this done. Anyway, obviously I put him to Mumra. That's what I want to prefer. And let me just show you. Here's Skeletor. I thought his jaw articulated, but it's just kind of rubbery. This is his hood, and this is his skirt. Okay, I don't really care for the Skel-Ra part. I care about the Mumra part. And I like this Mumra. I like that the bandages have a little bit of translucence to them. That's kind of cool. You know, and he's got that wild face, and he can hold the sword up. You know, these are kind of cool. These little things on the back, because you flip them around for Skel-Ra, and I mean, you know, they just clip in really easy, and, you know, simple transformation. I like it. It's simple, it's good. This is a chunk, by the way. This is a chunk. So let me get, I think I can reach Lion now. Watch me knock over somebody. Okay. Because I thought he was a little pricey until I saw how he compared to Lion-O. He is a big boy. A very big boy. Lion-O is pretty much your origin size figure. So that gives you an idea how really big this figure is. I mean, when I got the box, when I got the box shipped, I picked it up and I was like, whoa, what's in this? Rocks? He's heavy. Very heavy. Now, I thought when I saw it, before I saw it out of the box, he was going to be a little bit taller than Lion-O, but not much. You know, a lot. He's a lot taller than I thought. I didn't think he'd be a whole head taller, because Lion-O, with his top of his hair, is coming to his shoulders. So he is a tall individual. Yeah, now keeping in mind Origins is a smaller scale than most of the lines that most of the lines that people collect. So for another comparison, let me take this Masterverse figure. Oops. This is Scareglow from Masterverse. So yeah, they're almost the same size. Jada Shaggy. Zoinks. Oops, sorry guys. There we go. Marvel Legends. Magneto. So yeah, he's tall. And just for good measure, let me put an Action Force figure in here. And yeah, so I mean, you get the idea. He's a big old boy. He's a lot taller and beefier than I thought he would be. Hence the $30 price tag. So now I get it. Now that I have it in hand, I get it. So it's one of those rare times I'm going to say I think Mattel gave us our money's worth here. It's $29.99. That seems like a lot, and that I had hesitated on that figure because of that price till I got him in hand. I had not seen anybody talk about how much bigger he is than the other figures. You know, I had no idea. I mean, I thought he'd be a bit bigger. I thought, you know, just from the arms, I thought he'd be bulkier. You know, but I did not realize how much bigger of a figure this was we were getting. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this actually. You know, again, I kind of wish I had him when I had these guys unboxed, just for fun, just so I could have done that. I'm more impressed with them than I thought I would be. But you know, when you do Thundercats, you gotta have the bad guy, Mumra, and boom, I got Mumra. This is only the second Mumra figure I've ever owned. I have owned the 2011 line, the 1/18 scale. I've owned that one. One thing I did like about it was he had more, it was wings, and you could wrap them around like a vampire. That was awesome. That was cool. I still have that figure somewhere. I need to get it out for you guys one day. And I really dug that. I thought that was pretty interesting. You may not and think I'm full of shit. That's fine. This is a little bit more, I mean, this goes a little bit more to the cartoon, I guess. They're really kind of leaning into the cartoon somewhat. I'm not up on the cartoon enough to see every single thing and if it's all matching and if it's the right stuff. Lyle Convoy told me he's going to do his video on these. Get that information from him. Oh, correction to my last video. I thought Mattel owned Thundercats. I was wrong. Lyle Convoy told me they're actually owned by Warner Brothers. My mistake. I genuinely did not know that. And for those people yelling and screaming that no, he's wrong, talk to him. I refer to him on anything Thundercats. He is an expert on Thundercats. He knows his stuff. If he says it, I go, oh, I did not realize, and I thank him for the knowledge. There you go. That's it. Like I said, I'm a mild Thundercats fan. I don't hate them. I don't love them the way Lyle Convoy does. Lyle Convoy loves Thundercats the way I love Marvel. Okay? I love Marvel. I really do. The comics. Just the comics. So I understand where his passion comes from. And I get that. So, in saying that, you know, I'm definitely not going to shit on his taste. You know, that's what I'm getting at. If he says these are junk, I'll be like, I'm sorry. I do like them, but I understand. I'll at least hear what you say. And, you know, that's kind of where I'm at on these. Again, if you're like me and you just were kind of like, oh, Thundercats aren't cool, and you weren't religiously watching, and keep in mind, I was older at this point. I was in my teenage years, but I was still into G.I. Joe and stuff. So I was not a typical teenager. And before y'all laugh and say, well, I was getting into girls, I was like, so was I. I had the best of both worlds. You can do that, you know. It happens. But, still. This is fun action figures. I love it. I love good action figures, or decent action figures. I would put these on the decent effort, not perfect, but good. And if you have been looking for some Thundercats to populate in your shelf, I think this is the route to go. Right now, if you know, you're not going to do secondary market, not going to do vintage, not going to do 2011, I think this is the route to go, in my opinion. You know, if you're like me, you just want a couple of Thundercats, you want the main cats, just because you liked the show, and you know, you read a couple of the comics. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with these. Perfect? No, not by a long shot. There's probably some details I'm not noticing on all of these that somebody who knows these details would probably get upset about, just like I would get upset about. I'm trying to look around my shelves for an example. What details? Okay. The Kingpin having an open shirt rather than an ascot and a vest or a tie. Something like that. If he was just, he had a shirt unbuttoned down about halfway down. That would annoy the shit out of me. Okay? That's a good example. Okay? So, yeah. If there's something like that here, maybe I'm not seeing it. Correct me in the comments. But for what I'm seeing, I'm liking, and I'm on board. So, it's not like this is going to be a long run for me, but, yeah, short runs sometimes yield a lot. I'm not going to go very deep into this line. Like I said, the main cats, for sure. May get a bad guy or two. I don't know. Mumra's a lock. But, past that, I'm not sure. I will see what's coming in the pike when these waves continue. Okay, I think I've said most of what I want to say about Mumra. We have our living! Well, some of my favorite parts of the show was when Mumra would transform. I liked it. I liked it a whole lot. I had a lot of fun with that, so, yeah. Anyway, I think I'm done for this figure. Again, I can see why you might not buy this. I like it. That's that simple. Alright, moving on. So yeah, with Panthro, I didn't even try, man. I knew I hated his stuff. I hate this thing that was on his neck. I hate this thing, this mask he had. I hated this guard. I hate that shoulder guard. I'm going to take that off too. Got him into his normal Thundercats outfit. This I don't mind. This is kind of cool. So I'm going to keep that. Appears to be a little bigger than the other Thundercats, but not overly huge. And he's falling over because he's drunk. That's okay. One thing I do really appreciate is he has a working set of nunchucks. That's fun. Again, I'm not the Thundercats expert. I always defer back to Lyle Convoy. But I do dig these. I mean, to me, having not ever collected Thundercats, really, I just kind of like the show. I mean, this works for me. Better than Super 7. I mean, Super 7 was painful. And all I got left is Tygra. And it's like, I just want the basics. I don't need the whole freaking kit and caboodle toy line redone. That's a bit much for me. And I mean, I have to say, I really don't remember much about the Thundercat show. I just don't. It's not that I thought it was bad. I just didn't watch it regularly. If it was on, I'd watch it. But I can't tell you a single episode I watched. I really can't. It's not something I kept up with over the years. Like, I can name off a bunch of He-Man episodes. I can name off a bunch of G.I. Joe episodes. Because I kept up with them over the years. Those are my favorites. Whereas Thundercats, I like Thundercats. I really like Thundercats. But I don't love Thundercats. So big difference. The other thing, I also took off his little skirt thing because I thought it was stupid. This I like, and it's a fun thing because you can take this off and then put the axe on. I like that versatility. And so, come on. Yeah. So anyway, I like the versatility, so, I'll keep both of these around. These, I don't know, they'll go on a parts bin or something. I can't imagine anybody getting these and putting them in two completely different armors and Nah, I don't see that happening. I mean, I'm sure some nut will. More power to you. I ain't the nut to do it. And you know, I know a couple of people who think that's the whole ploy right there. What they want, what they're wanting you to do is buy 2 of these. Nope, not gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent. Oh God, flashback from the 90s, man. Early 90s too. Woo, woo. Oh, but well, why not? That's what this is about. And this makes me think the last bits of my nostalgia are coming around. I mean, I like the old things, man. I really do. I love Star Wars. I love He-Man. I love Marvel. I love old school wrestling. Wow, and I love G.I. Joe. But more and more I'm feeling like the gas is running out of the tank. And that a lot of people are in denial about this. And they're probably gonna be on that nostalgia glider and crash. I don't plan to. I love this shit. I genuinely love this shit. So, and I always try to make sure I buy something I think I'm gonna love. And like, when I get all 4 of them, and again, I'll see what else they do, but you know, the main goal is to get the main cats, boom, and battle Catmon, which was funny. I laughed hysterically when I made it and I had to buy it. I don't feel as strongly about Panthro. Of course, I guess because they're using the same accessories. They should have used different accessories for him, and then it would have been fun. You know, not drastically different, but some differentiation would have been fun. So, I'm probably not going to get Panthro. I may change my mind on that. I'm not promising anything. We'll see. We will see. I wish they had at least given, you know, the Masterverse Panthro had just gotten that helmet. And even though I don't like it, I think they should have added that. Something in that vein to Panthro. Yeah. But Tygra will be next. Probably be here next week as of this recording. For you, it'll be in about 2 seconds. So we'll move on to Tygra. Next up, Tygra. I do not dig this green armor shit. I don't like it. Looks terrible here. It's the green and the orange. It's just like, why do that? It's just a terrible design. Green and orange clash so hard. I don't know. Anyway. I kind of like, you know, heroic Thunderian scientist. I suppose that makes sense. But, yeah. Let's get Tygra out and take a look. And there's Tygra loose. And I'm going to be honest about this. I actually debated not getting this figure. I'm keeping the gauntlets on, by the way. Not gauntlets, the bracelets. They're not bad. I mean, I don't hate them. I really freaking hate this. This is ugly. Ugly. Ugly, 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 ugly. But, you know, I felt like this one was a lot more work to get into Thundercat mode. I also don't like this little separation here that happens with this overlay. It's like it's just a little bit too small, but is it terrible? Okay, I'm just pointing it out. I'm not going to say it's good or bad. But it is kind of cool to have some Thundercats in my collection finally. This may be the end. I've gotten Skel-Ra and Panthro and now Chitara and Lino and this, and I don't know. I mean, it's going to depend on what they do. If they do many of the mutants, I'm going to take them one at a time, you know. Look at them one at a time and say, do I really want that? Again, I'm not the biggest Thundercats fan. I'm a very mild fan of Thundercats. I'm a much bigger fan of He-Man. But I like Thundercats, and I've never had any Thundercats except for the 3 3/4 inch ones I keep mentioning. That I need to pull out one day and just kind of show, and just, I mean, it's the 2011 aesthetic, but they exist, and they're in my collection. So, you know, but they're the, you know, I don't think they're bad, but they're not great. I think the best one is Groon out of the whole bunch. But, you know, that's just me talking. Anyway. But yeah, I felt the same way with the 3 3/4 inch ones. Is when I got the Tygra, I was just kind of like, okay. And I never got the kits. I don't think I ever got Snarf either. Was Snarf in that line? I'm gonna assume there was a Snarf in that line because, you know, there probably was. And, you know, I was kind of like only half in on that line. There was a Power Rangers line that was almost 4 inches at the time too. And I got the original Power Rangers, and it was just like, yeah, I like the first season, that's it. And, you know, yeah, these are fringes of nostalgia for me. It's like, you know, Thundercats and Power Rangers. And then after that, I'm just kind of like, you know, I'm not in anymore. Kind of feeling the same way about Marvel Legends. I mean, I can only go to the well so many times before I'm just kind of going, you know, plus you're pricing me out. You know, man. I am noticing that Mattel is bringing some prices back down now that the tariff situation is straightening out. This was only $20. So there you go. I mean, that was just $20. You know, there was a few bits of raising with the wrestling, but even that seems to have calmed a bit. I'm not sure where things are going now. I mean, because it's kind of like they're kind of mellowing it. Of course, Marvel and Hasbro are just like, oh no, that's where we're at. That's where we're at from now on. And the next time some breeze knocks over a pole in Thailand, we're going to bring the prices up to 30. You do that, you're losing people left and right, and you're going to continue to. Mattel is barely hanging on in my mind. You know, they'll probably get some traction with the DC license if they do it right. If they do it wrong, they probably won't. It'd be funny if they do it'd be funny if they do like a DCU Classics and like a Masterverse level line and try to make everybody happy. That'll be funny. I'll enjoy. I'll get entertainment from that anyway. So, yeah. And, you know, here's the problem. When I get to this point with Thundercats, I always feel a little deflated. It's like, I enjoyed it for a moment. And then I get here and I'm like, with Tygra, and I'm like, okay, I got what I need. And, again, I never go very far further. I do have to see what they're doing. I don't like the fact that they're already doing a repaint line for this with Lion-O, Panthro, and Panthor Man. And I thought I was going to get Panthor Man, and then I just saw it's the same damn thing, so I'm not going to get Panthor Man. So there we are. You know, and Panthor is just a straight repaint of Battle Cat. I understand the logic. I just thought they could give him some better accessories, different accessories. Something to differentiate. But it looks like Mattel didn't even try. So that's where I'm at. I do like that we get a string with the Bola Whip. That's kind of cool. Looking ahead at Masters of the Universe, I saw that they did a King Randor and Queen Marlena in the Origins type scale. I do have an Origins Randor, but you know what? To get the set in cartoon accuracy, I may dive back in for that, because that would be, you know, Marlena was never done, and Randor was never done cartoon style, so they're leaning into that cartoon style, which makes me think somebody at Mattel is telling Hasbro, hey, this cartoon shit's working. Obviously this cartoon line has done something, because we're seeing that Transformers, apparently G.I. Joe are leaning into the cartoons too, from what we're hearing. And that's a sign of something. Trying to hold on to you guys. They know they ain't got much left. They're going, oh shit. Well, we got... yeah, we got nothing. So, it looks to me like they were going to start over, but we're doing a cartoon this time. Which is fine. I only did it for He-Man, because it's He-Man. You know, again, Thundercats, it's Thundercats. I like Thundercats. Don't love Thundercats, I like Thundercats, you know. And I keep saying that over and over. I just want people to understand where I come from as a collector, you know. I see this mentality of, you know, oh, Thundercats are out, I gotta get every one of the Thundercats, and they're gonna buy that repaint line, and I'm like, that repaint wave, and I'm like, I can just stop and not worry about that. And they look at me like, what? You're not a completionist. It doesn't do your collection or your mind any good to be a completionist. Again, if they expand on the cast of the Thundercats, I'll look. I've got my main Thundercats in my mind, and that's all I need. I'm good with that. But you know, if they go a little deeper, I'll pay attention. I will not promise I'll get it. I will not say that I won't. It just depends. But definitely do not like. This is my least favorite Master of the Universe. I don't even know what to call it. Look. My least favorite look of Masters of the Universe that they've done yet. I hate the thigh armor. Notice, with Panthro I kept a thing or two. With Lion-O I kept like a piece of armor. With this I kept nothing. Oh wait, the bracelets. But yeah, that's the point. It's like this is like we ran out of ideas. Let's just throw some shit on here. Yeah. And that's really what it is. So, there we are. But yeah, it looks like I'm done with Thundercats, for the moment anyway. I have the caveat of for the moment for almost everything in my collection when I say I'm done.